Hi everyone, welcome back to Nails by Sora. Hope you are doing well. This is going to be another cartoon piece, and I am doing Stitch. Nada. It was originally supposed to be Lilo and Stitch, but Lilo gave me a few problems. So if I decide to revisit it, then I will add her in, or maybe I will just do her separate and then add her into the set. But as of right now, it's just going to be Stitch with a couple of accent nails. And I am starting off with the accent nails, and I wanted it to be. It's a direct reference of a design that I saw online, and I wanted it to be in somewhat muted tones with corals and yellows. So I'm taking one of my Fiote colors. This one is lemon chiffon. And I'm just diluting it a bit with some white to kind of fade it out. And then I'll be using, why do I never remember the name of it? It's basically Coral by Madame Glam, and doing the same, just kind of, do I shear it out? I don't remember. I think I use it straight because I wanted uh, the difference between the bright coral and the pale yellow. So I'm going in with my little baby blender, which is from Nails by Dev, and I actually forgot that I had it until I was watching one of her videos on YouTube, and I saw her pull it out to fill in color and lay down the color a little bit more smoothly instead of using the the long liners, which is traditionally what I use, either a thin liner or a long liner. And it actually helped a lot with getting the colors to go down a little bit thinner so that I wasn't worried about it curing properly, and also being able to cover a larger swath of space instead of, going little by little throughout the whole design with the short liner. But basically, I'm starting off with some hibiscus flowers, and there's another flower in there that's native to the to Indonesia and the Polynesian countries, of which I don't know the name of it, but you see it in all the artwork. And just trying to get a pattern down, because these nails I really wanted to put in some, I think it's not Tongo, the language that they created for Lilo and Stitch. Actually, I just looked it up. It's called Tantalog, and it is a real language. I don't remember names of countries. I'm not even going to try to pronounce them, but suffice to say, I wanted to use some of the language that is in the movie, some of the catchphrases and whatnot, and just kind of put them across the nails. And I really had a lot of fun with these nails, but these two accent nails took me a lot longer than I expected them to take, mostly because I had trouble fitting in all of the text that I wanted to. And I think I kept it in. I was running on the second nail, I was running the words along the perimeter, and it was going so well. I got all the letters in and wasn't really having trouble with the bleeding of the inks. Just, letter by letter by letter, and then I couldn't fit in the last word that I wanted to put in, so I had to erase it all and start over twice. But it got done, and I really like the way they turned out. I almost wish I'd kept them glossy instead of matte top coating them, because I think the matte top coat kind of washed out the nail and made it look a little too muted, or a little bit more muted than I wanted, because I think the colors really pop a bit more with the glossy top coat. But I'm just going in with my short liner. These are my favorite brushes that I got off of Amazon. It's a set of 6 brushes. I will link it down below. And they're easily my favorite brushes. They are very easy to use. The bristles don't get gunked up. I did end up slightly ruining one of them because it had this one little extra hair that poked out that was getting on my nerves. So I clipped it, and I think I clipped a few extra bristles and made it a very blunt tip. So I may be picking up an extra set of brushes just so I can get another short liner. But yeah, so now I wanted to try to make the hibiscus pop a little bit more. So I put the stamen in with a brighter yellow by Dipalicious. And I don't know, I'm kind of on the fence about it. I don't really think it stands out as much as I would have liked it to. Maybe if I revisit this style of nail, I'll just do a contrasting color instead of one that's in the same or similar family, or at least in depth of color, but we'll see. Now, with this nail, I wanted to lay in a few other catchphrases from Stitch, and I started putting them across the flowers, but I thought they kind of got lost and they were hard to read. So I do go in and erase them with a little bit of isopropyl alcohol, and I just put them. I was using, I think the background color is Millennium, I want to say, or it's that muted yellow that I created, I think. Yes. So I decided to just put it around the perimeter of the nail so that it would stand out a little bit better. I think doing ombre or an ombre as a background design is now my favorite thing to do. I used to have a lot of trouble with it in blending the colors. Usually I use what's called an ombre brush because in all of the videos I watch, that's what you use. But I don't know if I did this out of sheer laziness or if I remember seeing other nail artists do it. But I decided just to use the brush from the bottle, and I got such a more smooth transition, and it was so much easier and so much faster to accomplish. You just want to be careful that after you're done blending, you wipe the brush off well on a lint-free wipe so that you're not dragging color into the bottle and contaminating it. But it is so much easier to blend the colors with the color of the brush, color of the gel paint that you're using on the bottle brush. It creates such a better transition, and you get more of a true mixing of the two colors in between. It almost makes you want to go back and redo that alternating ombre French that went around a couple of months ago and see what kind of a result I get from that. So yeah, stay tuned. That may be coming down the pipeline. But I did do 2 nails with alternating ombres so that the colors meet in the middle, because I had intended and I had done a Lilo nail, as I said earlier. But as I also said, I couldn't get it. The position of her head, she was half on, half off the nail because the image I chose were them leaning against each other. So I was trying to figure out the positioning of her head and the way it lay against Stitch's head and what portion was on the nail versus what was off the nail. And it was just giving me a headache. And at this point, I had already been at this for like 3 hours. I just couldn't deal with it anymore. So I'm sorry, Lilo. I will revisit you again soon. But so now I'm going in with Stitch Blue, as I've named it. It's basically just the vivid blue gel paint from Madame Glam. And again, I'm using the little baby blender brush from Nails by Dev, and laying down his head and his ears. And I don't know if it's a later adaptation of the character or if it's from this. I don't remember if I've ever actually seen the movie or if I've just seen scenes from it, but I don't remember him having 6 appendages. And I almost want to say that it was a later development, that something happened to him and he ended up, sprouting these other 2 arms. Because some of the artwork has 6 appendages, some has 4. 2 arms, 2 legs. But this one, I realized belatedly that it has the extra 2 limbs. And they were one was on top of the other, and I was having a little bit of trouble with it. But for the most part, I'm very happy with the way Stitch came out. I do want to try redoing a different posture. There's the one that you always see where he's just leaning up against either Lilo or a wall and his legs are crossed and he's got 2 arms and 2 legs. So I want to try that. But I really do like the way he turned out. I love his little floppy ears. And for the most part, he was pretty straightforward. Now, I have been watching a lot of tutorials lately. I've been following Ball Pit Addict. If you don't follow her, you definitely should. I will link her information down below if I remember. And Nails by Dev. Ball Pit Fanatic actually is affiliated with and works with Nails by Dev. They're both on Instagram. And they both do almost daily tutorials. So the traditional way that she goes about doing or walking through tutorials is breaking everything down into shapes. This is a football. This is a square. This is an eggplant. I think it was Mario, Super Mario Brothers. She was breaking down his features into like different vegetables. But my brain doesn't really work that way. So I generally just try to mimic, the abstract shapes that I see. So it's difficult for me to really walk you through a tutorial per se of how I translate a character to the nail because I don't go about it in a traditional manner. Basically, I just try to have the implement that I'm using, whether it's a pen or pencil or a paintbrush, I'm tracing or filling in a shape and I'm trying to mirror that shape with my hand and with the implement that I'm using. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but that's the method that I found works best for me. And so I'm not going to sit here and direct you on how to achieve or accomplish this version of Stitch because I don't know what's going to work for you. So all I can do is say this is what I did and you do you, boo. So you'll notice here that Lilo's hand has mysteriously appeared across Stitch's body. Part of her head is also on the right hand side of the nail. Well, it will be, it's not yet, but I did not film that part. So that's going to take us to the end of this video. You've got Stitch, you've got a hair's worth of Lilo. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I wasn't too confusing. If you do have any comments or questions, please leave them down in the comment section below. Please hit that like and subscribe button and hit that bell so that you know when new videos are available. And I will see you in the next video.